Hello, everyone, and welcome to round 3 of the Guild versus United European Starfront match here. UES winning the first round, Guild winning the second round. We are 1-1, so we are having a tiebreaker here on Bulwark Naval Yards. The Guild has gone back to ANS on Team 1. They are Secret Mink, Potato Master, Misk, and Star. Team 2 being the United European Starfront on OSP. They are Train Track, A1, Jacobian, and Crulio Jack. We're on Bulwark Naval Yards here as the teams begin to deploy here. We see, looks like we've got Duncan Idaho has returned. God damn it. As United European Starfront names are, I want to say much more normal, but this is fairly normal for NEB name terms. We do have the Guild is continuing to stick with Dune-related names here. I see, yeah, without Rhythm, Duncan Idaho. Yeah, we've got very, very interesting naming scheme here. I actually quite like it. It's kind of fun. Let's look at deployment. United European Starfront here, deploying a lot of assets up top near C Point here, which does tend to be the main cap that both teams can test. Meanwhile, ANS is not really deploying anything up there. It looks like deploying pretty evenly in the center. Interesting. Normally you see either a lot of things deployed like to the sides up here or like in here where there's like big long sight lines. You don't usually see a lot of things in the middle here because of this big structure that blocks all the sight lines. But yeah, no, it looks like OSP having nothing for the D point here. Ooh, I want to see what this ship does. This ship is either going to guard the A point or it's going to flank under and be really silly and try to go for B. Either way, it'll be interesting to see what they do. There are a lot of ships here, E and C for OSP, and it looks like ANS is deploying C and D here with most of their assets here. I'm assuming Duncan Idaho plus its escort. I'm assuming that's the double Axford we saw in the first round. Oh, look at that. That half circle of ships here from OSP as they deploy all in lines here. Very beautiful to see. Looks like we have the Monitor Swarm we saw in the first round here. I'm assuming it's the same. Yeah, it looks pretty the same. Let's go through the fleets, shall we? Misk opting to bring what appears to be the same fleet they brought the first round. A Spyglass SDM S3H. Oh, no, opting to take out the SDMs for a lock now. Look at that. This is much different. Still, we've got 2 goalie beamstones, 2 as well. And I'm assuming these are gun cappers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 gun cappers. Okay. Potato is bringing the carrier again. Will they be vindicated from what happened to them last match? We are bringing Lisan Al-Qaid is the carrier name. Very funny. And we have here's the SDM reigns here with some Sarissas and a lot of SDMs. 20 SDMs! Too bad they don't know that the enemy has no carrier. Secret Mink, yep, I was correct. This is the double Axford fleet we saw the first match. Some anti-bomber SGMs on the back. Broadside Triple Raider. And Star is... Looks like Star is also bringing the Axford fleet that they had at the beginning, the first match too. Oh, that's a VLS, not a carrier hangar. Was that the same? Was it a VLS 2 on the back of the other one too? No, it was a 250 turret, or not a, yeah, it was a 250 turret. So yeah, slightly different builds here from a couple of the teams, although the comp is pretty much identical from the Guild here. On to OSP here, United European Starfront. This looks like the same monitor ball fleet that we saw. Yep. So this monitor fleet only has 1 C90 on it, but it has a lot of 250 and 100 mil. Crulio is bringing obelisks. We've got 1 of them, 2 of them, and looks like a half-cap fleet with some rocket shuttles dispersed around the map. Yep, and 1 cringe capper heading for C. Jacobian has brought the same Acellos we saw in the first match. These Acellos did really, really well the first time. And then Train, looks like Train is their proper cap fleet here, bringing a mass driver line ship with a carrier backpack with some MMTs. No, these are SDM early warning support ships. Oh, this is an MMT. It's the Talisman MMT variant. Looks like we have 2 of those and some capping assets here. A Dazzler with the rocket, interesting. I'm assuming to deal with early Yub plays, which are typically guided, and 1 gun capper. Okay. Initially here we see teams starting to find each other here. CCAP will probably go to OSP here initially. ANS is sending one of their gun cappers to the point here, although it is not going to arrive in time, and there isn't really a whole lot else up here to deal with that cap. Looks like ANS divides pretty evenly among the D and E point, opting to bring 1 frontline fleet per side here. And it looks like OSP deploys most of their frontline to the middle here to guard C, although Jacobian does have these Acellos here at the E point, taking advantage of that very large open sightline here. They're moving behind cover too, interesting. Opting to keep these things in cover perhaps. Yep, detecting the experts at range, maybe perhaps not wanting to deal with those without fire support from their team. I'm assuming that's their plan here. These obelisks are just going flat up against the wall here. They'll force a close range engagement with ANS assets is what they're doing, I believe. The gun capper here looks like fairly reluctant to jump out here on the cap. They do not know what this is. They do not know what it's capable of, and they have no idea if there are any other assets here. Whoa, Crulio has a rocket shuttle on the top of the map here as it just flanks over. I'm assuming it's going to try and dive on cap assets, or at least stay up here pretty hidden and wait for the C cap to open up. Crulio is going under. Yes, this is beautiful. Although it's going to have to dart through the open here, and there is a beamstone here that probably is going to detect it as it tries to jaunt through open space. What else do we have here? Misk has a gun capper wide here, probably looking to take E-cap. Perhaps, I'm assuming, noticing this ship and opting to go wide, play it safe. Misk lost a lot of their cap fleet early on in the first round here, probably looking to try and play it safe to preserve their assets into the late game. Although that is going to cost them, as it looks like OSP here is going to get the 4 cap if D point goes down here, which I'm assuming it will. The only thing here being able to deny this is 450 and this gun shuttle here, or not gun shuttle, gun sprinter. This ship does not have any point defense or any missile defense at all. If missiles get fired on it, it is not going to be able to defend itself, although I do not think that's going to be a problem for them, as it doesn't look like there are any missile assets in the area. Yep, that is a 4 cap off the bat for the guild. Very, very nice play from Crulio and Train here as they use their cap assets to secure the point here. Rockets out on the gun sprinter. Will these hit? These were fired at pretty long range. All this gun sprinter really has to do is just slightly change course. Yeah, and most of those are going to miss. How many was that? That was most of their load here, as it looks like... What? That's not supposed to happen. A little bit of desync, perhaps? A lot of people have been saying that this map is especially bad for when it comes to desync and lag. I don't think rockets are supposed to do this, but... I'm assuming that's just a visual thing. I'm assuming the rockets actually flew with the rest of the salvo. Yeah, that was very strange. Interesting. We'll have to ask the teams in debriefing if they also saw that. They're tired. We will ask the teams in debriefing if they saw that as well, just to make sure that we aren't having any desync. We are in PTB right now, so there could be some unironed out bugs that we want to report if we see them. Looks like D point will probably go to ANS here as they do get their gunship on to target. This thing out of rockets completely. It is just going to go down here as it just takes fire. E point. This rocket shuttle rushing down this gun sprinter here. Opting to take the rockets at close range, like it should. Do we have rockets queued up? We will see the rockets queued up once they get there. Whoa! They are... Oh, they flanked around to the other side where the defender isn't an arc. Chaff goes out and decoys out as some SGM 200s are dropped from Grifoon Squadron onto this ship here. It managed just to get a couple rockets out, although I think they got intercepted by the Defender, only one hitting and didn't do a whole lot. Yeah, this gunship is going to be able to finish off this poor Sprinter here, which is structure broken. That's some interesting damage spread to be structure broken with. I'm assuming all of the damage just went into like this reinforced CIC. Frontline engagement looks like it's starting up over here as Jacobian opens up with their 4 blanket jammers. We saw that they had very good effect last match, as these Axfords here are forced to take. Oh, they're in range of the plasma. They're in range of the obelisks. These Axfords are getting pinned, and yeah, they're just out in the open here with no support. The other Axfords all the way up on the other side of the map, unable to support. As Star is going to find themselves on the unfortunate, yeah, the receiving end of a lot of bullets courtesy of these obelisks. Looks like they're trying to get one of their Axfords out of range in order to not get obliterated here. The Mass Driver line ship opting to fire at this Sprinter instead of the Frontline. I suppose the Sprinter does have lock on it thanks to this MMT over here. I suppose that's probably a good target to fire at. You really don't want to give ANS the cap points. Not like that. Yeah, this Axford going down pretty much immediately here as soon as those obelisks starting to open up. Axfords are very tanky, but once they start taking a lot of focused fire, they go down surprisingly quickly. This Axford CIC is down. It wasn't angled enough, and the damage goes into that weak underbelly area. The other Axford desperately trying to support its friend, putting some 450 fire into these obelisks here, getting a little bit of damage, but not enough to save the other Axford, I don't think. These Acellos are also going to be quite a problem, able to probably clean up this Axford. Yeah, poor Axford, as UAS just positioned its assets very optimally to deal with the front line. Very, very good. Very, very good positioning from UAS's liners there. Dagger being taken back by UAS here as one of the MMT steps onto point here. The gun shuttle has left the area and is unable to contest the point. Has to turn around to help. The beam keystone, however, is trying to get into position. What is that range they are at? Around... Oh, yep, they're definitely in range. Beam goes out, cores the drive, cores the reactor, cores the CIC. Yeah, that's a dead MMT. The shuttle that flanked around to the bottom is continuously spotting this keystone here. This keystone not detecting it, has no idea where it's being spotted from. Trying to maneuver around the B point to try and figure out where the ship spotting it is. That was a sun drive in that MMT, yes, you are correct. C point being pretty heavily secure, although I say that and it looks like there's a gun shuttle or a gun sprinter in the area to cap C if OSP isn't careful here. The first Axford going down here in a blaze of glory as the mass drivers swap to focus it. Although Cleaver Squadron escorted by Photon Squadron here, it looks like we have a torpedo strike here potentially out on I'm assuming either the liners or the monitors here. Big S2 strike into this gun capper here from Meteor Squadron, puts it out of action. But these Axfords here are getting a flank around to the other side of OSP's front line. These liners are out in the open here, and these Axfords have a perfect angle on them. Although these Axfords, that being said, are within... They're within like 5 kilometers of these liners here. Yeah, the liners already opening up on the these Axfords here. These Axfords, if they're not careful, they're going to fall victim to the same overwhelming 100 mil firepower that this first Axford fell to. Although this Axford does... I mean... No, this Axford is not getting out of there. Let's be realistic. Some more SGM anti-craft missiles out on Shepard and a couple... and Mason Squadron here. These are halberds that are supporting the OSP front line. The Acellos have also swapped fire these flanking Axfords, starting to get some damage into them as one of them begins to take plasma damage to the backside. That 100 mil is going to start pinning the armor here, and you can see here the damage to the drive adding up really quickly as that's a really unfortunate spot for a plasma hit. These Axfords need to get out of here immediately, or they're just going to get torn apart by the massed front line that OSP has. Mass drivers out on this Axford here. Starts taking some pretty heavy fire to the front. It is pretty angled to those mass drivers, but still those are going to hurt. Some SDMs out here on Photon and Cleaver Squadron as OSP does spot this strike coming in. Cleaver launches torpedoes, takes heavy losses for their troubles, but those are ARAD Act, and I'm assuming command guiding out on these liners here. Will this be enough to get through? Most of them going for this first liner here. I think those are going to hit. Yeah, massive torpedo hit into this liner here as it immediately goes from 100% to 0% in short order. These bombers, although they took heavy losses, because that strike was successful, this liner is effectively out of the fight for the time being. Gives a little bit of breathing room for these Axfords who are able to withdraw and potentially start repairing. Very, very excellent strike from Potato there. We also have another torpedo strike here. Gunslinger Squadron is flanking around the side here, potentially going after that MMT, or maybe those Acellos. We will see what they're going after. More STMs out on Cleaver Squadron. It looks like Kubian wasn't too happy about the bomb strike and is looking to finish off these bombers. That's Splash 1. But the other one gets chaffed and is, yep, not going to hit. One of the bombers in Cleaver Squadron looks like it gets away, although, yeah, heavy losses from that strike there, but it was enough to get through onto one of the liners. However, the other liner and the monitors are still perfectly healthy here, pouring fire down on one of the Duncan Idahos, although this is the only Duncan Idaho this time. As its center stack is completely cored, its nose is gone. This Axford is just going to get torn apart here. Insane firepower from OSP's frontline here. Those liners are just able to obliterate anything that gets close. ANS's frontline, unfortunately, like, separated and caught out here by these liners and Acellos and monitors. Looks like the massed frontline strategy is the way to go, as we see here the overwhelming firepower is just too much for ANS to handle, as their Axfords are forced to withdraw. Smash Driver Liner also very helpful, providing some supporting fire for the front line here. Turning our attention to the Cap War, looks like ANS does manage to find and kill this this shuttle that was flanking around. ANS does manage to resecure the D point here from that MMT, although OSP still holds the cap advantage with E point. Or rather, I would say firmly under their grasp, but it looks like E point is open, and so is A. This rocket shuttle here starting to take some fire from this gun sprinter here, as looks like ANS moves to cap to just take the objectives from OSP here. Because yeah, E point's relatively open here. There is an MMT in the area, but Juggler Squadron, I believe, is committed onto this MMT here. These have the S2 Tachis, yeah. The rocket launcher on this shuttle is knocked out by the RPF. They need to get that repaired immediately, although the repair team's repairing the reactor and the drive. Of course, this shuttle doesn't know that this ship is weaponless at the moment. CIC is also taking significant damage. Yep, there goes the CIC knocked out. Mass Driver's coming out to try and support the cap asset here, although I have a feeling if this ship goes down, that Mass Driver's not going to have anything spotting for it. Yeah, there's nothing else in the area to see this shuttle, or this sprinter. Yeah, and it's undetected as this ship loses the ability to power its radar. The Mass Driver liner unable to support the A point there. Juggler Squadron is, did something. Did they fire their missiles? They did fire their missiles. It looks like they missed or didn't do anything or got shot down or intercepted. Something happened, and the missiles did not reach the target, so it looks like he will probably remain in the hands of OSP here, although this missile range is getting into range. I say missile range. This thing has no offensive weapons on it. All ANS has to do is just push this A point here, and they can just take it for free. That early warning radar is not going to be enough to get a fireable track for this liner on. Back to the frontline engagement. One of the other Axfords is starting to take some fire from the massed frontline fleet that OSP has. Looks like it's trying to withdraw back into cover. ANS opting to focus fire on these liners here, probably the best option. In all fairness, these are the ones that are providing the most firepower for OSP. Yeah, this masked ball of frontline that OSP has is going to be really hard to dislodge from the C point here. These Axfords are still committing to it, though. Still trying to dislodge them. That's a lot of meat to chew through for just two Axfords, and I don't think they're going to be able to before they get gunned down. One of Mink's healthy Axford already just taking a lot of damage here as the other one goes down completely. This Axford is completely crippled, unable to chain restore, is just a cap ship at this point. ANS's attempt to take the E point fails as they lose a couple ships going through them, one of them having no offensive weapons. I do not know what this ship was doing. I'm assuming that ANS realized that the enemy doesn't have missiles or craft and just decides to sacrifice it for the cap, but OSP just has too many assets in the area. These Acellas are also able to get crossfires on these Axfords here. Yeah, this is not what you want to see for ANS, as ANS's frontline is already beat up completely. Although that being said, unlike last time, Misk's camp fleet is perfectly intact here, whereas OSP's frontline has been pretty taxed. 3 cap goes to ANS, however, they are very far behind on points. They need a 4 cap at this point to really have much hope of winning. One of the liners diving back down onto A point to try and retake it, successfully guessing that the monitors and Acellos can definitely deal with these Axfords at this point, considering that one of them's already completely crippled and the other one is, well, there's just one of them. 450 HE from those Acellos is going to start hurting this Axford. This Axford is just out in the open here, no cover for it. It's just going to get picked apart here. Dropkick Squadron with a couple torpedoes. I'm assuming this is trying to pick off the MMT, but a little bit too late considering that there are 2 assets already dead on E point from ANS. OSP with just the complete frontline dominance this match, completely removing these Axfords from the picture. Is, yeah, there's only, yeah, this is the only functioning Axford really left. This one's been CIC knocked out. It's crippled, no restores left. Oh, no restores left and the CIC is gone. Yeah, no, this Axford is mission killed. This really leaves only one Axford, which is starting to take some heavy fire from the monitors and Acellos. Corelio diving on the A point here. Takes a, was that a beam? Yeah, beam for its troubles as ANS tries to defend their stolen A point here. The beam going out into the core, this liner's going to get structure broken soon. How many FPAs do we have on this Keystone? We have 2 FPAs. It is opting to battle short. Taking out the center stack here, causing significant damage. Keystone does get locked and starts taking return fire, though. That beam is being battle short. It's taking some heavy damage, and yeah, there goes the beam. Knocked out. This liner here, not structure broken, still combat effective, is going to be able to pick up this Keystone here. Takes out the beam. This Keystone needs to get into cover immediately in order to get repaired. If it gets caught out, which it is at the moment, it's just going to get torn apart. Although I think it's going to get into cover here to start repairing. The other Keystone also attempting to shoot down the liner. As the liner starts to back up from the cap point, it's gone into reverse. It's no longer heading towards the point. It's heading away from the Keystone. But this other Keystone getting into range. Its jammers are online. The enemy does not see them. There goes the second beam. Right into the core as well. Good aim point. Center stack A is going down. Oh, the aim point gets significantly worse as it goes into the nose for some reason. Although, small GC locker in the big slot is a decision that I would not have made. But there comes the beam again. It's back. It's going for this. Yeah, that's significant damage into this liner from those well-placed beams. They are able to potentially hold the A point, although that's not the only ship heading A as this damaged MMT begins to move on to the A point. Those beams are not... No, those beams are not quite in range to really help with that. How is this not structure broken? There it goes. Structure break taking effect as the damage starts piling up onto all the modules here. There goes the guns, there goes the buff modules, there goes the core. Its reactor is cooked. This poor liner is not long for this world. Although that aim point is not into structure. There it goes. There's an aim point into structure, but the beam, I'm assuming, battle short's end gets knocked out. Yep. Repair teams are going to need to bring that back online before it's able to fire. Only one Axford left as it attempts to hold off this massive frontline push from OSP here. Only a little bit of damage into one of the monitors here. It's able to repair that, no problem. The Acellos are fine. The liners have taken some damage for their troubles, but this monitor swarm is going to be able to clean up this Axford pretty easily here, especially with support from those Acellos. E point going to potentially fall to ANS here as one of the gun shuttles has found the point. It is going for it. A point, however, is going to fall back in the hands of OSP here. That MMT is going to take the point. Mass drivers out into these Keystones, pushing through open space. Keystones die very quickly to mass driver fire, and these things are caught out in the open, taking fire from these Acellos too. The Acellos providing target lock for the mass drivers. Very excellent team play here from UAS. Reactor detonation. Fortunately for ANS, it was not in the range of this Axford here, although this Axford is not looking too good. We had a lot of reactor detonations this match, haven't we? Unfortunately for ANS here, I do not think a cap victory is feasible, although they have more cap assets, or at least had more cap assets than OSP did a couple minutes ago. I do not think that the difference in assets is going to be enough to give them the victory as A point gets resecured by OSP here. E point is going to be taken by ANS here, but OSP is already sending assets to take the D point, and it does not look like there's much in the way of anything that can defend that. Although that being said, there is a Keystone in the area, and there is a gun sprinter in the area, so they might be able to intercept that. The A-cap here failing completely as this Keystone just gets focused down by all the assets that are left over here. This liner, although being structure broken, still has guns left and is able to put fire down range. The other liner does get taken out by Sunder Squadron. That puts a bunch of bombs into it. And it looks like that's a surrender from... No, that was a disconnect from Train. Train DCs as Jacobian takes command of what's left of Train's fleet. Rather unfortunate. That's the second disconnect we've seen on this map in the tournament. We had one last week too. I'll maybe have to talk to Vastal or someone about maybe seeing if this is a consistent theme. A lot of people have been saying this map is pretty lag intensive, so maybe we'll try and do something about that. Like I said, I need to talk to some other people, see if we can figure something out. But anyway, back to the match. This cringe capper is spotted here by the Keystone and the gun shuttle here, or gun sprinter. I keep saying that. It is probably going to get picked apart here before it can get to the point. This Axford's surviving a lot longer than its brethren, but it's still going to go down here as OSP's frontline just pile drives it into the ground. ANS's frontline just completely knocked out of the fight here. ANS still has a carrier with some torpedo launcher, with some torpedo strikes left. Only one of them, though, it's not able to launch those massed bomb strikes that we could have seen out of 2 levies. And I do not think it's going to be enough to kill OSP here. They still have quite a few assets left. Overall, does the levy still have planes? It does not! Only one bomber left! I should have checked that before talking. Only left to Tontos, and yeah, no. This levy has been pretty much completely defanged here. Dagger being secured by ANS here. This cringe capper is going to go down here. The levy still has, yeah, unfortunately the levy still has plenty of, like, munitions, but unfortunately has no craft to carry them. No aircraft repair station. The levy has a built-in aircraft repair station. You do not need to bring an aircraft repair station on the levy. It has one already built in. It passively repairs craft without one. The Ocellos diving on E-point here. There was nothing to stop these Ocellos from just taking the cap here. The carrier has no bomb strikes to deny that. Only Tontos left, which are probably going to get defeated by the soft kill on these Ocellos. And yeah, without that 3 cap, I don't think ANS has any hope here. ANS does get is trying to get additional beam fire out on this liner here. Does hit structure, does do a lot of structure damage. There goes its CIC. Yeah, this beam keystone probably will be able to clean up this this liner here, although losing a liner at this stage in the match is not really going to affect OSP all that much. Gun Sprinter diving on the A-point here. Looks like it's going to try and take it out from these damaged chips. This rocket ship is completely gone. This MMT is fairly damaged. This ship could be able to outgun... Yeah, this should be able to outgun this MMT. However, at this late stage in the match, I do not think it's going to be able to outgun it fast enough in order to provide ANS with a victory here, especially since they're going to lose the E-point here to these Ocellos.
The enemy is securing zone eclipse.
Yep, there goes the E-cap there as those Ocellos step onto the point. Nothing anywhere near the levy's able to do that. This is 11 Tontos heading for the monitors. Panther Squadron has something to say about OSP's massed frontline here, as these are all unguided bombs. That is a lot of KVU-22s. I do not think, however, that that's really going to be enough to turn the tide of this match. Yeah, as this monitor ball has its point defense is far too great to get bombs through on, as Panther is reduced from 11 to 4 craft. That is rough. E-point firmly in the hands of OSP. They've even attached one of the Ocellos to try and deal with this Sprinter on A-point here. Sprinter taking mass driver fire for its troubles, as well as 450 fire from the Ocellos. I do not. It is definitely not going to be able to secure this cap point here before it goes down. OSP just had too much frontline for ANS to deal with this. The carrier really only able to get a strike on one frontline asset this entire match, unable to really provide ANS with bomber support. I don't think it's going to be yeah. We have ANS's last bomber fires a single torpedo out on yep, the grape shot takes it down. Unfortunate. This torpedo is going to get intercepted. There's too much point defense fire from that area to really get a torpedo through. And yeah, I think that's match. I don't think that ANS can really do anything else here other than slowly bleed out the rest of its assets. This Axford's surviving much longer than the other ones did. Still combat capable somehow. Does have one gun left. Although it is not going to be enough to take out those monitors. last functioning keystone gets caught out by one of the Ocellos and gets gunned down. The other one completely unrepairable here. Does still have a drive, could potentially try and get onto the A point, but it's not going to really change the A fight all that much considering that it has no weapons. OSP 50 points away from winning, and there goes the surrenders from ANS there as they realize that there is no possible way to win this match. And that is a GG as United European Starfront wins this exhibition match 2-1. Yeah, all right. We are going to the Peanut Gallery for debriefing. I will see the other teams there. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yep.
Hello.
Just wait as everyone begins to filter in here. We are waiting on Misk and A1 still. There's Misk.
Good fight. I enjoyed that cap ball.
Yeah.
That was a good cap ball.
We're still waiting on A1 from UAE. Or
Yeah, I don't.
UEA.
Let me see what he's doing.
UES? I'm completely messing that up. Oh, there they are.
Good fight.
Right.
Yeah, it was a good match.
Sorry about that. Couldn't figure out which CC to go to.
Oh, good. Right, yeah. We had some really interesting plays from both sides there. Very, very nice. OSP's frontline is very strong, as we saw three times there.
Yeah.
It was OSP's frontline that won the fight.
Yeah,
in
all three of those
matches.
matches.
Yeah.
Those things.
OSP frontline is insanely strong.
Right. The
the
quad
Or
Axford,
firepower.
the quad Axford, unfortunately, it can only bound tank to one area that fire's coming from. So unfortunately, that death ball the first match didn't really pan out all too well. You were kind of isolated in one spot and were unable to really affect anything else on the map. But then, yeah, and then in the third match, you split up and then you got defeated in detail.
Yep. Yeah, it's a rough combo. I feel Caps is very even. I was enjoying Caps.
The Caps was very.
Yeah.
The Cap fight was like very back and forth like the entire time in like all three matches. Very nice play from you guys.
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed.
I feel like if ANS wants to beat the current state of OSP frontline, they need beams or they need Yub. Carrier isn't cutting it.
Well, the Carrier, I think, could have done some good things. Like, we saw it take out that liner in the third match, but unfortunately, the Carrier got taken out pretty early on.
Yeah,
in the
I
first
sent
match.
a full escort with that bomber strike, but my Tontos just panicked and all died. None of them shot down SDMs. That was so stupid. I don't know if you guys felt that, but a lot of my craft just weren't like they were well within their weapons range, but weren't firing for like an extra several clicks.
I was running jam.
Yeah.
Like same with the rockets.
So
yeah, rockets too.
It was some weird stuff
performing a
too.
little
Like
weird there, but
I don't know if anyone else had it, but I had my pentabrick formation. Like 2 of my ships just refused to obey orders for like a good 3 minutes till I had to manual order them back into position.
Which
Right? Like you
which match
do
was this again?
things and it doesn't load.
Game 3. That was a game 3
Yeah,
situation.
was anyone else having like lag issues on Bulwark?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
having,
noticing desync.
we were
A lot of
having desync issues.
Because we've noticed desync in like 3 separate matches on Bulwark so far this tournament. So I think it might be a map issue. I'll have to talk to Vastal.
There also was like
and
I think
some weird geometry issues we were experiencing. We had a capper on the other side of those 3 pillars by C point, ready to dive in and take it, but for some reason there's like an invisible barrier between the pillars that you can't fly through.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll definitely have to run that by Vastal and crew and see what we want to do about that, because that's been a pretty consistent issue from all the matches we've had on Bulwark so far, is that we've had a lot of desync and lag.
I think on match
Bulwark
1, Cat was noting he was having issues getting his rockets to fire out of.
yeah, same match 2. Our Kudas were having some issues too.
Mine had no problem firing the rockets. They fired it basically as soon as I right clicked every time.
Yeah, Mink was fine. Mine
it's
would
frozen
not do
from the
it.
ship.
I had 2 Kudas that just spent like, you must have seen them. They spent like a minute doing donuts next to a bunch of your sprinters on D point. On 6.
What range were you trying to fire at this?
Anything from like 3k to 500 meters. Like, they would not do it.
Okay, so you weren't just doing it point blank, because I think they do have a minimum range.
yeah, I was fucking with the settings like constantly. I tried juking, I tried not juking, I tried standoff, I tried stand in, I tried putting on a target. They would not shoot.
It could be a PTB thing. They might have experienced it in the other match that's going on right now. We will have to talk about that later and see what's going on.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
There's also an issue. I caught it on my stream. Someone in round 3 fired a bunch of rockets from one of their rocket shuttles, and the rockets were like hovering next to the shuttle.
Oh yeah,
I saw that as well.
You saw that too? Okay, that was
Mm-hmm.
interesting. I don't know if that was...
That happens all the time.
That happens all the time, okay.
With
I'm
this
assuming physically the rockets were actually in the salvo like they were supposed to be, and visually they just were sitting there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a radar
It's
track
kinda
on the
like
one
Mine
that
was
was sitting
the same
still.
thing, 'cause-
Yeah. Either way, these were super fun matches, and I think we're all gonna need to go and update a bunch of shit before
Right, I think-
the tournament.
I think, definitely, I think what happened there is, ANS never really had the carrier support they needed for the frontline engagements. I don't think the carrier was able to really strike enough to deal with.
We didn't have a carrier.
Make
Yeah.
value.
Yeah, so keep in mind, I haven't played Nebulous in 3 weeks until yesterday.
Oh,
and
I
so
see, yeah.
I completely rebuilt my carrier from the ground up, like last night.
Yeah, you
We had barely any practice.
I would highly
Because I
recommend.
just got back from vacation.
I would highly recommend you bring 2 levies instead of 1. That's heavily invested. You
I've
can
always
watch-
hated
yeah.
double levy since testing, but yeah.
Really?
I think double levy is the way.
Yeah.
It is.
On the
As much as it
match-
pisses me off, yeah. Double levy.
I think the first match would have gone slightly different. If you remember, I don't know if the spectators saw this, but there was a wing of 8 sturgeons going for the levy at the start of the game.
Yeah, and they
killed
just
by
got
breadsticks.
eviscerated by.
They got eviscerated by
breadsticks.
breadsticks. I panicked Z-prioed from both of my ships and spent all of them, and I could have probably spent a third of them and still killed the whole wing.
Yeah, there
And
were a
that
lot
would have
of-
saved us from the
I
second
noticed-
wing of sturgeons that
I
came at the front
noticed
line earlier.
the bombers were eviscerated by like the first 3 breadsticks, and there were like 5 more inbound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they work. The breadsticks work. You've confirmed that.
Kill.
Yeah, my little
They're
yard.
fun. They killed some pikes and skiffs too later,
That is, yeah.
I
which
really,
was fun.
I really like using breadsticks for skiffs because they're just basically same
Could
size.
you-
target.
In match 1, when we had that giant furball, I could not tell what was happening. I think the rock geometry messed up the fighter AI or
Around,
something.
yeah, something happened. I mean, OSP did win that furball there. For some reason, the little furball indicator, like the bubble, wasn't appearing on spectator view. I'm not sure if that was
I
for you
saw
guys
it.
too, but it was not there for me
Oh.
in spectator. But there were like 3 separate squadrons on OSP and 2 separate squadrons on ANS in the same area.
Yeah, it was my 12 to something. I don't know.
It was a very interesting engagement. The bombers took like no damage out
That
of
wa-
that.
yeah,
like they
that was
managed to get
weird.
through, and then the SGMs came in and eviscerated them. But yeah, very interesting matches we saw there. I think ANS Frontline definitely needs something to support it in most engagements it undertakes, just because of
Yeah.
how much
More
firepower that
firepower.
OSP. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could, I loved how in both matches, in the first 2, both times ANS's Frontline kind of fell to the same thing, and it was really funny to see each team have their turn experiencing the Axfords.
Wall the
Maybe
flags,
4
crossfire.
Axfords in the same area aren't the best idea. Yeah, and it was rather unfortunate in the second round. I think it was Jacobian pushed out on one side and someone else pushed on the other side with the
Oh, yeah,
Axfords. They went for C, and
saw that and we-
as soon as you guys got C, a reactor bloom happened on one of the Axfords and just.
We saw the
I
reactor
was,
bloom. We
I was
moved off of
counting that
C.
one down.
As soon as you guys started your push, like you lost an Axford to reactor bloom effectively, and it was just like, oh no.
To be fair, it was going to get crossfired by the Ocellos and 2 pairs of 450 liners.
That
So
is
regardless
true,
of the
yeah.
armor state, it would have died.
OSP just had so
Yeah,
many
I do-
450
it was-
assets that round.
We mostly identified it was bad coordination between our support assets and our front line because we don't really run carrier on ANS.
I'm not
So the
sure. I
design
think
block-
if you're not confident with the carrier and have a good double levy, I think it's probably best to leave it at home.
I used to be confident because I've literally done nothing but levy since carrier testing started, but it's changed so much in the last few weeks that I just was like, wow, okay, that was entirely anemic.
It was mostly that we had.
I do have
I
one.
made a call at one point because we had our Vox halls sweeping through D, and those were kind of our backline support.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we pretty much
We
had
made
open
an
space
aggressive
at that point.
call.
So so I made a call.
Didn't pan out.
I had A1 sweep through the back line, trying to see if we can grab the carrier before we.
You guys
take
did
that back
manage
line.
to mission kill one of the carriers. You killed one compartment on one of the carriers, and it was its bulk mag, and it had no restores.
Okay, that was my journeyman that you got, and I had already expended all of my R1s, so the Kudas were
I'm
just
not
basically
surprised
flying
by that.
flechette boxes.
I'm not sure what hit my journeyman on sticks, because at some point, like, a single shell went through it, knocked the bulk mag neatly out, and then left me going, well, what are we meant to do with this?
Oh, so it happened to both the journeymans.
One of the journeymans was very red at the ends, but everything was still functional, it looked like, and then the other one was completely fine,
Fine apart from
except
the
that
mag.
its bulk mag was gone.
I think I can probably swap that mag out for a reinforced mag.
I would recommend you do that if you can afford the
I'm
lower
pretty
end.
sure it all fits in the smaller amount of space. It's just
Yeah.
carry it in.
Especially
right?
especially if you're bringing no restores.
I think the play that sold that second match that like really sealed the deal was when those Vauxhalls aped it for our backline, and I decided to dive with the 450 liners and basically got to clean them for free.
Yeah, you caught those boxes out of
I
position.
do have one
Yeah.
cap observation. The
Yeah,
cap game
that
was like subsidiary in this matches, but like one thing I did find interesting is the Tals tugs that were just sitting in the back were really, really stubborn. Like I couldn't get my cap assets into them.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The carrier couldn't get on top of them.
I kept trying to kill that fucking Draugr match 3.
With the one on E point, I think, yeah.
Yeah, that one was super good.
And I forgot to switch my Tachis to command instead of ARAD Act, so
Yeah,
they just
question, how tanky are those tugs? How tough are they built? Is it just like a small and an orc steering?
Just one restore.
Yeah, okay, so given the performance of those, I'm really tempted by those now. I think the Tals might be where it's at.
Classic MMT.
I do, for my MMTs, I forgo the jammer on the tug. I put a Towels and an MLS on it, and then I have a jam shuttle next to the MMT with a lot of soft kill. Yeah, I put a Bellbird, a Warbler, and a EO Dazzler on the shuttle next to it, and there you go. I've got Omni soft kill next to my MMT, and it's really annoying for enemy players to try and dislodge that.
Yeah, that might be more than I want to put into it, but I think the basics of like Tal's tug that just is annoying and kills gun vets with its gun is rock solid, because like those were controlling the cap game very effectively. Like if you pushed into my side, you got beamed, and if I pushed into your side, those tugs would just concentrate on where I was trying to poke, unless I put something really heavy.
Right.
Like it's that time I wish for the thing that I always wish for, which is a Vauxhall that is 40% the size. Just like a baby Vauxhall.
Baby Vauxhall.
Yeah, honestly.
Have you considered police frigates? That's like kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
Kind of the same thing.
Slow. They're so slow though.
The
Oh, you
double
whiplash 'em.
the double.
I think like
double
what
whip
ANS,
police trick.
what ANS I've like seen, like what I noticed we were lacking specifically is like OSP a lot of times would just wipe out a frontline basically instantly with plasma from something at 100 mil and basically have it dead in a minute. And I think ANS needs something, or needs to have something in their comp that provides a similar level of alpha damage, whether that be like really old school retro TF Ash just to gut something with beams instantly, or you can fill that role with carrier if they're able to get torps effectively onto target. Just something to kill it fast, because the slugfest doesn't really work when the OSP is just able to completely outdamage you.
Yeah, no, I think ANS definitely needs to supplement their front line with missiles or carrier support to win those brawl engagements.
Agree.
That being said, both matches we saw, ANS was always 3k under in the front line, except for the first one, but in the first one they had carrier support. So it's not like... So ANS was already going up against something point-wise more powerful than it. But still, yeah, the way those axe roads fold incredibly fast when you have that much firepower going into them.
Yeah. I think even a Solomon, like, I don't know.
Maybe Solomon is the play, because the Solomon will last longer and could act as a better damage soak than the
Survives
Axfords
plasma
could.
for a while, yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, my Axers were a bit experimental. I was running Tri-Raider on them since
Tri-Raider
I had
works.
heard inklings that you
Tri-Raider-
could dodge at broadside. And it was working in the first match, but I could not dodge the plasma in the second match, even at 6 kilometers.
You were way too close
Yeah.
to the enemy.
When you're
for-
locked, you're locked.
Yeah, those Acellos with the bullseyes able to just provide locks to priority targets. Very good on those silos, Jacobian. You were just able to lock priority targets whenever they popped up for your team.
Thanks. Yeah, that.
And the jammers, you had four blankets, and the silo group is also nothing to scoff at. You were just completely jamming out OSP or ANS's sensors for like most of the engagements.
Yeah, that was solid. Question: what weapons are in those Tails tugs? And I'm just gonna try and make something similar.
Just casually stealing them.
What?
It is an exhibition match. You might as well.
Yeah, theft.
Just a casual amount of theft
Look,
here.
good artists borrow, great artists steal.
Exactly.
It's just an MMD.
Yeah, but like, how many anti-craft missiles are in that Tails? Because Billy had some. Was it just some breadsticks?
Just shaft, and a single arming missile.
Okay. I'll just put some
weren't they
breadsticks
lobbing
on it, I guess.
SDMs? Or at least why would you have the Tails if you're not lobbing SDMs?
I think it was breadsticks. Or something.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure I was the one lobbing SDMs.
Yeah, I don't usually run SDMs.
I had like 16 of them.
Wait, so why Tails are not an MOS?
Tails automatically loads SDMs or defensive missiles whenever craft come into range. Whereas in MLS, you have to manually load in order to do that.
What I mean.
Well, yeah, no, we're saying that they were saying that they did not have defensive SDMs on those tugboats.
Oh,
Why run
really?
the Tails?
No, on the first game, no.
Huh.
Oh, on the third game, Bulwark.
Oh,
the
okay,
tugboats
then
have
that
SDMs?
was Train. He was playing Caps Train.
Yeah, the guy who
not here.
DC'd partway, that's his.
Because that's
That
what
was
we were
running
talking
on
about.
the Okay.
Or his
I see.
computer or something likes to crap out. That's something we've noted.
Tragic.
Interesting. I'm assuming that's why you have Ren then?
No, we have
you
Ren.
don't have Ren. You have John on your team.
No,
That's who.
No, that was just because we had someone who couldn't meet the obligation after a certain point. So
I see.
We subbed. Yeah.
Well, I hope they get that computer issue resolved, because that is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know what causes it. We like to rib them about it though, so it works out.
As long as it's at the end of the game.
It was near the end. It was at a point when the
Yeah.
match was already decided, realistically speaking. So
Yeah, we got lucky.
Fun game.
yeah, that could just be a Bulwark thing, like we were kind of talking about before. We've noticed that Bulwark has a lot of performance issues in the matches we've had.
The times he has DC'd, it's been on performance-heavy maps, so...
Yeah, there is also a weird thing where you can't move between the pillars despite there being a giant amount of space.
Yeah, they're probably all one big hitbox.
I want to go into testing range and see, because although I've never actually tried to move through those pillars myself, so maybe they are just a big hitbox. We can go insult Puppy for it later.
Yeah, for the record, we chose not to play Bulwark because none of us had actually ever fought on Bulwark.
We knew it was big.
I like Bulwark. Like, it's a nice map. It's just unfortunate the
yeah, I think we just had the
performance. Yeah.
We just had like a post-game talk for like, okay, pull up a map. We need to figure this out.
Bulwark has a lot of like custom animations and voice lines and stuff that are happening in the background, which is probably why.
Yeah,
it's
we
so
heard
performance.
Vastal.
Yeah, Vastal's in there. Oh, speaking of Vastal, Vastal's been here. Hello, Vastal.
Don't mind me, I've just been listening in a little bit. I'd like to congratulate United European Starfronts for their victory. That means nothing, unfortunately, as you do not eliminate your opponents, but you do move on to the next stage regardless, and as does the guild.
We'll get them next time.
First match warm-up.
Good matches.
Yeah,
we really needed that warm-up because we did not get much chance to practice before this. So
yeah, rusty as hell.
I suggest
we
getting
learned a
some
lot,
more
though.
scrims in. Use the tournament server that we have, and
We
you
just can never
organize
get our
scrims
schedules
after
together
them.
for a scrim.
literally.
It's unfortunately how it goes sometimes.
You guys did well regardless of any rustiness that might have been there.
Yeah, you guys definitely gave us a run for our money.
Yeah.
On a handful of occasions.
I think if the coin flip at the start had gone the other way, that would have gone almost exactly the other way.
Both games.
Yeah, we made.
Yeah,
the
but I think
same
we're both
observation.
OSP teams. We both struggled hard on the ANS side.
I'm an
Yeah,
ANS
on that.
player, but I was so out of my element there that I just run Kyanite and it just works. So
Sometimes, yeah, Kyanite just
Literally,
works.
my thing is just Kyanite, but I ripped off the fighters and put lookers. That's it.
I mean,
those
it
MDs
works.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
That MD
Alrighty.
liner
Ooh.
with was it just spotting off the halberd tracks? Because that was ludicrously accurate. That was slapping
I saw
sprinters
some
at
pikes in
like
there.
15k.
We had a lot of-
It had radar locks from the Acellos in a lot of its engagements.
No,
Yeah,
'cause
I
you're
was
shooting
earlier,
down by
I-
my Spronta on
At
A.
the very beginning, right when I first got spotted by that one halberd, those fire orders were very accurate for halberd track.
Although I think the Halberd's
it was
Halberd's
Pike.
track is still very
Thank you.
fireable.
Yeah, it's very
No,
good.
it's
It hasn't been nerfed yet.
Oh, it hasn't
It's
been
like-
nerfed yet.
It's
Or
like
thought
did it
was.
get nerfed?
It has like a positional. It's like a TQ7 track. The halberd's not necessarily what you want to use there.
I was observing fire
providing
tra-
locks, and we had Pike as well, just to double check what it was.
I was gonna say
so-
we had a lot of tracking assets on.
Yeah, we had a
firing
lot of
on.
shit looking at you guys. We figured out where you were all going in like 2 minutes.
Pays to have sensor assets.
Even scouts.
We also count flare drives. We were actually just figuring out who was going where, and then just go, oh, there's a big cone over there. That's why we like panic shuffled like right off the bat on match 2. Saw all the drive flares, and like Elint picked it up, and we're just like, fuck.
That's also
Alrighty, well.
effectively what led to the attempted push
The
at,
attempted loop
to the
around,
back
yeah.
point because like, oh, they're all committed over there. Maybe we can sneak this.
Liners,
No, we
liners are fast.
we had pikes too. We saw those Vauxhalls coming from miles away.
Oh yeah, I knew you guys could see me coming through. It was a matter of could you guys get back in time to fuck me up. which
Liners,
you did.
Liners-
Well done.
liners are
fast.
fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine weren't even long haul; they were regular yard drive.
Speaking
It was
of
just I was in
drives-
position to get it.
Speaking of drives,
Yeah.
who was running the 200R drives in their Axfords in the second match?
Wait, what?
Someone had, instead of in their big drive slot in their Axfords, was running 200R drives.
Oh no!
Let me see.
I don't
mean, they're
remember.
cheaper.
Because I was one of the experts, and Kat was the other.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember who it was, but it was a very. I was just
100
looking.
R?
Yeah, they were the 200Rs in the 500 size drive slot. It had me very confused.
Okay, it wasn't me then. Kat, you
Who
want to
did
look? Because you said it was in the Axfords, right? Kat,
Yes,
check
it was-
check your Axfords.
I would definitely check your Axfords because that is a
That is a oops moment.
yeah.
A mile.
Yeah, I had 540.
Someone
so
had-
that's why we lost. Okay, makes sense.
Yes, we blame the engines. That's the entire reason Game 2 was lost.
It was
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
it was
There's
very it was
absolutely no other
it was very interesting opening up those experts and seeing the drives. Maybe actually do a double take. I'm like, huh?
Wait a minute.
Did I read that right?
Did I?
Can I
yeah,
count?
Did I read that right?
First off, did you read that right? Second off, what like unfathomable theory?
Like I don't
want
want to. Yeah, it's funny because whenever I see weird stuff like that, I'm like, I have to like decide. I'm like, okay, is this tech or is this just someone's oversight?
An honest fuck up.
Like, is there some interaction that I'm unaware of happening here, or is this just like a mistake?
Okay, Kat, was it on yours or?
Let me
The
see. I'm loading
difficulties
up
of
again.
casting.
Okay. Yeah, he's checking.
Wait, who was finding that that Axford in the third game that's getting like just shot by my pentabrick for years on end? Why the fuck didn't it die? If that guy's here.
Was it Star and?
It
who else
is
had
me,
the-
indeed. Yes.
What was the question?
Small drive.
Yeah. We even talked about
Who had the
drives.
last Axford left on the ANS on round 3?
That was, I believe that was me.
Was it taking any damage at all at the end there with the fire going into it? Cause
Oh,
It was taking some damage, but it was mostly soaked until you switched in. It was mostly soaked by Pendef, I think.
yeah. So I know I switched back to AP at the end of it. So I'm like, there's gotta be. I gotta be not piercing far enough, and like
Mhm.
this
The
is
problem,
how it
though,
goes.
But even then, like, I just could not restore my guns because if I restored them, they just go pop immediately.
Yeah, because I had enough damage up front, so like pen depth as it is, you restore the guns soak all the damage, right? Something like that.
All right, now
it's
it's
a pen
fixed.
depth thing. It
Nice.
can only go so
It just,
far.
it just got eaten by the
The,
structure, I believe.
The 200R drives have been removed. Good thing this was just an exhibition match and not an actual tournament
Exactly.
match.
Don't lose anything.
Good eyes.
We talked about this earlier.
It was really funny because once I saw the 200Rs, I'm like, all right, drive check, and I had to like go through everyone's fleet and like make sure there weren't any other interesting drive decisions. Because it wouldn't be the first time someone has accidentally brought small drives on ships that should have large drives. I remember Scrubbus in one of the skirms.
I think I know what it is. It's because we agreed on the Dragonfly drive. I probably messed it up while fixing it. You have the same
I know I've done this. I
Why?
used to do it a long time when I was new to the game on my liners. I was doing the wrong one. I was doing the small one instead of the big one on my liners.
Oh
and
yeah,
I
that killed
never
me a
figured
couple
it out.
times in
drive?
testing.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, it's the whichever yard. It's the one that you put on the monitors with the increased turning rate and all that.
Yeah, the Chi
You know,
777 instead
it's
of the
the wrong one,
770.
but
yeah.
Yeah, it's just the wrong one, and it's.
I've made the
so
same
coming
exact
off of
mistake.
ANS because I was coming from playing maining ANS when I was new to the game. I'm like, what? Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
just one's just better because I couldn't figure out how the difference was between the two sizes.
Right, yeah, no. OSP drive
It's not like-
nomenclature takes a while to get used to if you're new to it.
Oh,
And like the
very
moment you get shot, it just goes out and then you just
Yeah,
die.
and then you're wondering
you're just
why
like,
your
what the fuck
ship's
did I do
drives. Yeah,
wrong?
you're wondering why your liner's drives go down after taking a single 450 HE shell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, good matches, everyone. Those were 3 really nice games there. Very excellent plays from both sides.
Where are we going to be able to see those?
They will be uploaded to my YouTube channel sometime this week.
Okay.
If
Well, for now, we can just look at the
for
VOD,
now
right?
you can just look at the VOD. Yeah, the VOD in its entirety will also be uploaded to my VOD channel and will be on my Twitch channel for the next week. So if you want to go back and watch what happened, it should all be there.
The bot? What is that?
The VOD.
I'll link it in a moment.
A saved recording of most stream.
Oh, okay.
Twitch saves
Here,
them for a week, and
For 2
I'll
weeks,
toss it into the
2
chat
weeks,
for this.
like that.
I'll
Is it
toss
2
it into
weeks?
the
It's
chat for
only-
Peanut Gallery.
I don't know. I don't do Twitch. I've heard 1 or 2 weeks. I don't know.
Could
which
just
one.
be like settings.
I think it's 2 weeks. I have a couple VODs from like 2 weeks ago.
Interesting. Okay. Well, at the very least, it'll be on my Twitch for a while,
Cool.
a little bit
Thank
at
you.
least,
Fair
and
enough.
then it will be on my YouTube channel eventually. I have to edit them and do the thumbnail stuff, but that shouldn't be too much effort.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a couple of VODs from February 6th, so it's probably 2 weeks.
All right. But
There's
yeah,
not more.
very good matches from you guys. I am going to go ahead and back out here and let you guys, I guess, discuss amongst yourself if you want to talk about anything else on the match. But I think for the post-match discussion, that's kind of it.
Yeah, I think we figured it out. That's
All right, well,
Yep.
I'm gonna have
Okay,
to head
guys.
out, guys.
See you guys.
Good games to the other team.
good scrapping.
Good luck
I
in
hope
the tournament.
to.
See you guys around.
Yeah, I hope to see you on the battlefield
Yeah.
next time with
Very
all
fun.
other comers defeated behind us.
I would kill you.
Until
Bye,
then.
guys.